Wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. So before we get into your wonderful world of writing, I want to begin with the pandemic. 5 years ago, we were knee deep, figuring it out, so many unknowns. How did you survive the pandemic, and how has it influenced the way that you do things today?
Well, during the pandemic, I was a real time that I went within myself. I've been doing this work for 20 years, but I really started to meditate a lot deeper and started to do life coaching on videos. It was when I actually put myself out there.
Yeah.
And so I started to share like my wisdom, my experiences, things that I've known and start a YouTube channel and start to inspire people and help people through the dark times
Yeah.
because we were always looking outside of ourselves, but that was never working. So I had to look within myself, and that's where I found myself, and that's where I got my grounding and my awareness, and I could just really make the changes in my life needed. And the problem is there was all that fear, right? And so when you're disconnected from people, it was kind of good in a way because I got more connected with myself. But at the same time, I was devastated because everybody was sad and the kids shootings in schools and all this fear and negativity, and I was just like my light was starting to go out. So even though I was like meditating and doing the work, I was surrounded in darkness
Yeah.
and it was just being drained, and I was sick and I was tired, and I was like, this is not working. I can't elevate. I can't get out of here. So I pretty much went to my knees and I'm like, God, man has failed me, but you will not. We deserve our freedom, not people to control us. You get to say. And I kind of put it in his hands, and he kind of worked through me and took over. And instead of taking me, he used me as a vessel. And
Yeah.
I just started to listen to him and follow spirit and get my ego out of the way, my lower mind, my flesh, that I can do it all on my own and all that kind of stuff. And I followed the higher wisdom, and I started to meditate and get above my mind and raise my awareness and activate my pineal gland and expand my consciousness. And I started to get my light back, but I had to cut off and leave people, places, and things that because I was like a seed planted in a bunch of darkness, but seeds grow in the darkness. But there was a point where I couldn't sprout until I moved myself, and I was in a very toxic, mentally, emotionally abused, and it was horrible. And that's why I started my prayer life, and that's why I started reading the scriptures like deeply, like guide me, tell me what it's talking about. And I realized that the Bible was a map of me on the inside. It
Yeah.
wasn't to be worshipped; it was to be decoded.
Yeah.
And so I started to get revelation and understanding, and I started to, really go within and study and learn and stop gossiping and stop hanging around people that were putting negativity in my brain, saying I'm never going to do anything. Stop, because they were dimming my light. It was like I was a vessel of transformation, but being betrayed.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, these people are not for me. But I didn't know because I was groomed to like accept whatever it is, like be a scapegoat, like you're the problem. No one wants to take accountability. What's boundaries? All like so I was self-taught, I was self-learned. I had to do all this work on my own. And I started to put God on a pedestal instead of man. And that's where I got my power. That's where I was able to really get enlightened and make a difference. And once I got away from those people, I was like, okay, now what do I do, God? And he's like, write. And I started to write, channel revelation to all the suppression of you can't speak, you have to be quiet to come up. And I started to write about it and speak my truth and share my experiences of how I can overcome and how I can be stronger and better and inspire people and get them out of the dark because I did it, do it too, and to take their power back because too much we're connected to systems and programs that are draining us energy and keeping us stuck. And so I had to withdraw, take my power back, said, no, I'm not going to be a part of that anymore. And I was raised in religion, and religion was keeping me stuck in a circle. I couldn't elevate. It was like they were teaching me everything I wasn't supposed to be learning. And instead I was supposed to be learning about going within, having to, God is within me and I'm more than a conqueror. And I started to put these things in my spirit that God's plans are to prosper me and he loves me and to give me life and more abundantly. And that's when I didn't care about people's opinions anymore. And I just started to trust what God said. And I started to empower myself and I started to grow and expand and lift myself up because I was now away from all of that energy that was just drowning me.
Yeah. For sure. So let's get into exactly what you do right now in 2025. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of fifth graders. It's career day, and one of the kids is like, "What do you do for a living?" How do you
Okay.
answer them?
Okay, so I'm actually a life coach.
Uh
I'm a
huh.
single mom. I'm a content creator. And I'm really into health and fitness and working out and clearing my mind and being connected to nature. Nature's like my church,
Yeah.
because it's where my grounding is. It's where I can be clear
Yeah.
and meditation and even my little kids, they listen to singing bowls and they love it and it just, elevates them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's about helping each other, sharing the love. The world wants us separate, but I want to unite us in love.
Sure.
But, it's control. People want to they don't they don't want to support what they don't can't control. And
Yeah.
when you're your own divine being and you're sovereign, they don't like that because they teach scripture, but then you become the scripture. They teach spirit, and then you walk in spirit. They teach hands on the sickness, but you walk in and demons flee because we can embody our highest version of ourselves. We can become what we really want to be. We can dream bigger. And for the kids, they can dream what they want and they can achieve it. We can do anything that we put our mind to. We
Yeah.
just have to be around people that uplift us, that support our dreams and don't pull
Absolutely.
us down or knock it, but say, no, yeah, you can do that. And start making a plan and seeing the end result. See yourself doing that. And then thoughts become things.
Absolutely. Manifest destiny. So let me ask you this: what did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream life?
I wanted to be a model,
Nice.
but and a singer. So I started singing and I was really good, and then my eardrums burst. I had a lot of like witchcraft and like bad things put on me, but whatever, I worked through it. And then I wanted to model, and then they said I was too short. But I never gave up. I just kept trying different things. I just kept getting up and I just get knocked down and then I try something different. And like if you looked at my resume, I've done like so many different things. But in the background, I've always been studying kind of the 1%. Like when everyone was going left, I was going right. They were going to church, but everyone was miserable and unhappy and sick. I was like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want this. So I started to become and trust my own spirit and follow what I wanted to do and what people told me I needed to do and how I needed to be. And that's what I want to tell kids. Go after what you want to do and be with people that want you to do that, that will believe in you. And surround yourself with positivity.
So take me back to your childhood. Where were you born and raised? What were these seeds that were planted into you that have been harvested into you being positive and helping others and feeling this unification of helping people?
So I was born in Kelowna, BC, and I moved when I was really young to Calgary, Alberta. And I had this bright light. I had this big energy, but I didn't know it at the time. But people, I think, saw it and were scared of my potential. And so they tried to kind of dim me. And I was kind of told, oh, I would ask questions or I would know things and say things. And they didn't like that. And so they would say, well, you can't be like that. And you have to do this. And if you don't follow this belief system, then we won't love you. Like really conditional love, black and white. This is the only way. A lot of belittling, a lot of making me feel bad, and felt like I was to carry everybody's burdens and problems, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is not working. And I just wanted to love people, but I wasn't getting it back. It was like I was pouring into people, but then I was had an empty cup.
Yeah.
And so I had to realize that there is such thing as equal give and take. I can pour, there's other people out there that want to love, that want to give, that want to, but I was just not in that environment. I was in an environment that saw my light and they started to siphon my energy. They just started to take it and it hurt me. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't for my highest good,
Yeah.
but they were my greatest teachers
Yes.
because they helped me to look at the darkness. It's like I was light with a mirror, I was seeing darkness, and I was like, if I was triggered, okay, what inside of me isn't healed that's making me react this way? And
Yeah.
so I had to learn how to become emotionally stable on my own and go within and get grounded and get in alignment and not be unbalanced. People wanted me in fear and scared, so I was up in my head, so I was in fight or flight. How can I get anything accomplished? How can I manifest? So I had to let go, come back, get grounded, and be my truth, be the real me, be my light without people putting their identities, projections, and fears and insecurities on me because people were unhealed. And I was like, I don't want to take that on. So it's like, you're in an airplane and they say, put your mask on first. That's how it is. I had to invest in myself, heal myself, get rid of all of the things I was not so I could become what I am so I can help other people.
So who's been that hero, that inspirational force for you to find your place, to find your voice, and to become who you are?
Nobody, God, I had no help. I was
Yeah,
kicked when I was down, but I
yeah,
was strong. I was built. I had this inner strength. Like ever since I was a child, I had like an accident happened. I had braces on my legs and my hands, and I always suffered with a lot of pain. And then I had chronic ear infections. I had a broken neck. I went through a lot of physical pain, trials and tribulations, and it didn't make me feel good. And people on the outside were telling me things, but I knew deep down it wasn't the truth of me. But when you're around it, it's going in your brain, right? It's not, you're not able to really believe and love yourself when you're around people that don't love themselves. And so that was the other thing. I had to start looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. Like, you're amazing. I love my hair. I love my eyes. I love my body. It heals itself. I'm wonderfully made. Large sums of money comes to me in increasing quantities, and rechange the programming in my
yeah,
mind,
yeah.
because whatever they were programming me wasn't working. So I guess my biggest people that I look up to were like, I listened to um, Neville Guard,
Yeah.
and like Wayne Dyer, and like some of these like big people, Napoleon Hill. I studied these people behind the scenes and remote viewing, and Journey to the Infant, and started to look at all these programs. I did Landmark Forum, and I started to take courses and put myself in places, even though they didn't like that. I started to train myself, and I started to, spirit, tell me what to do, where to go, how to be. And I started to read all these books, and so, I still couldn't go anywhere because I was still in the environment. But once I left the environment, then those things I was putting in my brain started to take over, and then they
Yeah,
could manifest in my life. And that's the biggest key: is you have to get away from low, dense, heavy energy, or it'll drown you. Your light
absolutely.
can only be so bright, and you need other lights to help lift you up. And now I'm at that place where I'm starting to, I've raised my frequency, so now I can connect to other people on my level.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this. What is the motivator for you every day to wake up and to do this work? What gets you up and to be at the highest level and to also take care of your own soul?
It's purpose. It's me being able to wake other people up, for them to find their power, for them to believe in themselves, for them to go after their dreams. If I can pick myself up from the bottom, and write 3 books in 2 years, right? And 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 believe in myself and change my mindset, then they can too, and change my energy. And so I created this blueprint because the system I was in wasn't working, it was broken. And so I created a new system, and a new foundation, so people can write their own script and live their dreams and actually achieve them, and having my light and my energy and my support to uplift them, to inspire them to know that it's possible. And so if they can see it done, then they can believe in themselves too. And that's what wakes me up every day. If I can make someone else shine, it is worth it. I am about love. I've always been that way. Some people are in competition and compete, but I just stay in my own lane. I just want to evolve. I want to be my best self, my highest self. And that's the key. Tone out the opinions and go after what you want.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. What's been the best review for your book or the best fan letter you've ever gotten or one of the most memorable ones?
I think Atticus was really nice with Logan Crawford. That was a really good interview. I also had Reader's Magnet for Festival of Storytellers. They put me on a billboard in New York Times Square for 24 hours, which is pretty cool. That made me feel really good. And the people that have read my book, they say it transforms them. Now, some of them go through a little bit of a dark night of the soul because everything you believed, you realize is a lie, and things have to crumble in order to be reborn, right? But we want things that work in our lives, that support us, not systems that drain us. And so you have to go through change, and change is uncomfortable because you have to let go of old identities and parts of yourself that no longer serves you. But it's really, they felt strong, they felt empowered, they had the energy to see different and to make the changes and to be empowered, and they're doing great things in their life.
So let me ask you this. What was your favorite book growing up or what is one of your favorite books?
Um, I think I liked The Bible, because
Yeah.
the Bible taught me who I really was, taught me who I was in Christ, taught me about my Christ consciousness, the Christos oil, and bringing my energy up and to the right side and expanding. And but all the books were great, like just studying all of these, like Louis Hayes, um, what's Abraham Hicks, like
Yeah.
all of these people that just would put these good things in my brain, or at night positive affirmations. Neville Guard was huge. I just love him because the law of assumption was the thing that I was missing. And once I started to embody that, it started to really pick up for me.
So if you had a dream tonight and ran into the 18-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you impart on that young version of you?
I would tell her to believe in herself, to love herself, to choose herself, to not put other people above her, because not all people are honest and loving with good hearts. Some people will take advantage. They will hurt you. They will drain you. And now I'm the best protector for my inner child because I had no one to protect me. So I had to do it myself. But I had to heal and forgive myself and forgive others for my peace. And I would tell them to leave the environments that don't work, that don't serve you. Now, the environments will try and hang on to you or pull you down or run smear campaigns in the background because they don't want you to have opportunities. They don't want people to see you. They don't want people to know what they've done to you. Or, share your light because they like the system that they're operating in. People don't like change. Some people don't want to grow and evolve. But if you want to grow and evolve, find your soul tribe, go within, meditate early, and get away from those people and find and learn how to grow spiritually and cut those energetic cords so people can't hang on to you, so you can evolve and grow like you're meant to be and be the adventurer that you want and believe in yourself and be with people that actually believe with you and have that discernment. I had to meditate and God helped me to discern because I just trusted people, but now I can see through the mask. I can see the manipulation. I can see the control, but I had to experience a lot in order to gain that discernment and overcome my demons, to not run, to not people please, but to face my fears and
Yeah.
go through the fire.
So of everything that you've done in your life, achieved and evolved to, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
This
Yeah.
freeing myself of and elevating myself on my own, trusting God, writing books, being the light, like growing my light back, because this is probably the strongest I've been in my whole life. And, you know, I did it. I did it. I became somebody that I'm proud of. I embodied success for me.
Yeah.
That it's not about validation. It's about me and loving people where they're at and being able to understand and have compassion with them because I've been there and I know how to get them through it now.
So at the end of the day, Jill, everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends,
Yes.
all of your fans that buy your books, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm one with God. I abide in him and he abides in with me. I'm his child. And he wants us to be close to him so he can let us live our dreams and show us purpose and guide our steps in our hands so we're not burning out and being exhausted, but we're connected that our cup overfloweth because he's always channeling through us because we're grounded and we're connected with him. We don't refuse we are the ones that refuse God. God never refuses us. He
Yeah.
unconditionally loves us. He accepts us where we are. And he teaches us who we really are. And the spirit teaches you. And that is, to just to rely on what I know from inside of me and my connection than what someone outside of me when they don't even know themselves.
So, we're going through, especially in America, we're going through such weird, strange times, especially since the beginning of the year. Are you hopeful for humanity? Are you hopeful
Yes,
for where we're
very.
going as people?
Very. Once I got my boundaries up, that was important because I had to respect myself. Enabling people they don't learn. We have to face our mirror. There has to be a crumbling before the new is birthed. And that's what's happened. I've gone within, I've done all these changes, and now it's birthing on the outside.
Yeah.
But there's that change. Once we make those changes, things can't change. Our energy changes, so our environment changes. So we have to just trust that things are dissolving, not feed into the noise, fear and separation and focus on our vision of love and being connected and lighting up our lights, because one light can light up another light, and keeping our connection to each other and elevating in love, and love is always more powerful than fear, so we'll always win.
So if anyone wants to get your books, they want to reach out, they want to learn more about your world, any of the good business, where do they go?
All right, so these are my 3 books. This is my
Yes.
first book, Healing Codes to Enlightenment.
Yes.
And it's my foundation. It's the new blueprint that will get you to a place where you can be free, write your own script, and live the life of your dreams, and activate you and wake you up.
Yeah.
Then activation codes for full authenticity and power, because we all have codes in our DNA that are dormant. We need to wake them up.
Yeah.
And so I kind of show you that in my book. And then being unapologetically you. The Phoenix Rising, being your truth. Don't wear a mask, because when you lie to somebody else, you're lying to yourself, and then you stay stuck at a low frequency. We just need to be honest about it and feed the parts that they're serving us and ignore the fear. And that was the problem. We get in contrast where we're like looking at fear, looking at love, keep going back to love, keep going back to love until it takes you over. But my website is www.jillnyepower.com. Very simple.
Yeah.
And for coaching, it's jillnyepower@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you can do personal coaching with me. And you can also find me on Amazon and through Archway Publishing. And yeah, I just want you to be happy and to be loved and allow yourself to be loved.
I love it. What a great message. Thank you so much. I will put everything in the show notes. It's so great to meet you. Thank you so much for your story.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hello friends, Joe Domino here. I just wanted to let you know that after 30 years or so, I have finally released my first book of poetry through the mighty Spartan Press here in Kansas City, Missouri. As the creator and host of both Neon Jazz Radio and the Famous Interviews with Joe Domino podcast, along with being a visual artist, I'm ready to embark on a new adventure and want you to be a part of it. You can get a copy online via Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and actually on the streets in Kansas City at the great Prospero's bookstore off 39th Street. You can also visit joedomino.com for links to the book, to more poetry, and everything in my world, including paintings. Thanks for all of the love and support over the years, and please dig the words.